Okay, viewers, hello. Just thought I'd do a really quick video. It's late at night, Sunday evening, Sunday night. My apartment looks really lovely. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd present this idea to the scientific community. No doubt they are listening and willing to take note of ideas and thoughts and stuff. So what I was thinking of doing was something along these sort of lines, was it? So we have the International Space Station, right? Well, what we're going to do, we're going to modify it. We're going to mod it. We're going to put an ISS command pilot module in front, a couple of rockets on the back end of it, and around it, so we can maneuver it. And then we're going to pilot it out to the moon, right? Put it in orbit around the moon. And then when it's out on the moon, right, what we can do is we can fly the space shuttle, as you can see, fly between the Earth and the moon. And of course, it can dock with the moon ISS, as you can see there, like that. And of course, then the space shuttle can then either fly directly to the moon, and then fly back to up towards the ISS, or return to the Earth. Yeah. Okay. And so this is a little idea I've been toying with for a little while now, playing around with various incarnations. But I think the idea of you see, I wanted to propose the idea to the international scientific community to make another ISS. Well, of course, to do that would take probably 10 years to build, umpteen number of billions of dollars to make. So we've already got one in situ. So, like, the idea of just modifying it with the pilot command module there. See that the ISS command pilot module, and a few rockets on the back, you could literally fly it to the moon. Oh, come on. Yeah, you could fly it to the moon, and of course you could use it, the combined ISS and space shuttle, to establish a temporary and permanent moon base. Right, so it would be an ideal little, link between the Earth and the moon. And of course you could have space shuttles flights between the Earth and the moon, right? And as a result of that, we'd be able to have a permanent manned presence orbiting the moon. I think that's an important step. The idea of literally having a permanent presence around the moon, and that can be accomplished very quickly and easily by just literally flying the ISS to the moon. Then we've literally established, a permanent human presence. That's a permanent human presence around another heavenly body, or another planet or satellite within the solar system. So humans, this would actually be the first literal permanent step that mankind could take to establish a permanent presence in another place in the solar system, the universe, other than Earth. People are talking about Mars and all the rest of it, which is very good, but this is something that's relatively cheap and easy, and it can be accomplished very quickly. And humanity could say that we have literally established and ventured out into space and put a permanent home in another part of the universe other than Earth, just by doing that. Isn't that really good? And as I say, the command module, if I may be permitted to further elaborate, the command module itself could be like, let's say, the command module of the space shuttle. Have you seen the commander module of the space shuttle? You could just basically take the front end of the space shuttle or some variant thereof, just wang it into a tin can, and put that up to the ISS, and you've got a couple of rockets on it, and you've got a flyable permanent home. I mean, the thing could travel, technically speaking, I suppose. I mean, people have lived on the ISS for like over a year, so presumably it could go, they could fly it to Mars. Now, can I just present that as an idea to the international community right there? Right? We've got an option of either flying it to the moon, right, and creating a permanent moon, and/or just flying it to Mars. In fact, what they could do is they could fly it to Mars, right, and everyone could say, right, mankind's been to Mars, and it's an international community, so no one's going to be arguing and fighting, right, who's going to be first, right, and then you could fly it to the moon and then orbit around the moon. So that is just a brilliant, permanent, easy way of doing it. So first of all, you go to Mars, and then you go to the moon. Okay. We got a flyable ISS, right? A flyable ISS. We just mod it, and we fly it from the Earth to Mars, and then we fly it from Mars to the moon, and then we just space shuttle flights like that to service the ISS when it goes around the moon. So it's going to be 6 months out there, a few laps around Mars, and then 6 months back. That is absolutely 100% doable. Totally and utterly doable. If man can stay, you know, on the ISS for a year or so, I mean, astronauts staying on the ISS for a year, you could easily fly to Mars and you could return to the moon. You could get a shuttle to either meet them at the moon and bring the ISS team to Earth. They could fly to Earth with a new set of astronauts on the ISS after they return, or they could fly it to Earth, right? So go to Mars, come to Earth, exchange the astronauts, refresh the astronauts, and then fly it out to the moon and circle around the moon. So that's an important step right there for humanity, right there, viewers. I'm not kidding you. That's as significant as somebody coming up with translunar injection and the Saturn V rocket, right there. And I've been thinking about this for a little while, modding the ISS. See the ISS there with the command module? But it just says, like, I don't know if it struck anybody else there just now. The importance of actually flipping doing that. You could literally, as I say, mankind could go to Mars within the decade. They could go there and come back, and then they could fly the ISS out to the moon. So job's done. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. Right? That's a done deal right there. All it requires is the money and the international community and the governments to okey-doke the plans, and away you go, get on with it, sorted, done. Mankind can say, right, in the 21st century we went to Mars, came back, and then forward, and we went and put a permanent home around the moon, and then we started working on the moon base. How about that, fellas? And I don't get paid for this.